Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on Episode 3 of Konosuba Season 3. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So I can only imagine what sort of trouble Kazuma's getting up to now that he got teleported back with the princess. Oh dear. That's probably not a good story to be telling Princess Iris. You know, maybe killing Kazuma isn't the answer, but, I think this attendant has the right idea, by and large. Man, for him not only to be telling these stories, but to be getting kind of familiar with the princess, like, that's not good. Man, so, I mean, he's being specifically requested to sort of tone it down. I feel like, he's not going to do it just out of pure contrarianism, if nothing else. Oh. Man. Princess Iris, she really did something bad when she brought Kazuma along. So I have to wonder, like, how long has Kazuma been here? Because in his absence, I can only assume that Aqua, Darkness, and Megumin have basically destroyed everything else. I mean, like, they welcome him with open arms, more fool them, really, and they give him a room. So, like, clearly, like, he's got to have been here for a little while, right? It's not good to leave Aqua unattended. Man, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe Kazuma does have a point, like he was just kind of grabbed and teleported here. But at the same time, how much can you really refuse royalty without sort of rocking the boat? I mean, I guess it's one thing where, like, all these stories of adventure have sort of made Iris really happy. Usually, since it seems like she's rather withdrawn and quiet. I mean, that's not an unreasonable request. Just like a few days of hanging out, telling stories. Although that said, like, Aqua unchecked for a few days, like, who knows how much money she could waste on drinking. Ooh. Okay, so he's just sharing, like, Japanese stuff too, like culture festivals at school. 'Cause, like, I mean, I guess that would be totally foreign to a princess. Ooh, Kazuma, that's not a good idea. You're starting to influence things. Like, hey, why don't you, like, open up a public school here? Yeah, Kazuma really shouldn't be the template for what should be done in society. And, I guess the sudden influx of the Demon King doing stuff, that's, well, it's not good, but, boy, isn't it convenient that Kazuma's right there nearby to presumably get killed. Okay, well, I guess that was no real big deal. But that is rather unsettling that the Demon King sees fit to attack the capital. Oh, okay. That was a quick resolution for Kazuma to sort of head back tomorrow. I figured there would be a little bit more, but maybe not. And, I guess he's finally thinking, like, man, what are those other people back home gonna do without me? Probably cause trouble, all told. But, yeah, I guess the door is still open, like he's presumably going to be parting on good terms unless he snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. Which, that's not outside the realm of possibility with Kazuma. Frankly, I'm surprised he escaped the last episode without being executed. I mean, by all rights, he probably should have been. But I guess it's more entertaining this way. Oh, Kazuma. Don't do it, man. I know where he's going with this. Ooh. Man, if everything he did last episode didn't warrant execution, this certainly does. And I mean, just like that, he's deciding to stick around. It really is shameless. Okay, so he's clearly made himself at home here, and this is probably, not good, becoming used to all this luxury when, frankly, I think it's inevitable that he will have to go back, and boy, is he in for a rude awakening when that happens. Wow. I mean, I guess he's just so, he's so into the whole thing that he just calls people whatever name he wants to call them, regardless of their actual name. That's, not surprising, I guess. Man. Now, is that his doing? Like, is he requesting that Iris calls him that? 'Cause that's, I feel like he shouldn't be doing that, Man, speaking of things you shouldn't be doing, I mean, it basically starts and ends with Kazuma. Man. I feel like already, like, he's gonna get in some real trouble now. Alright, well, I guess that's over with, and it's probably for the best, really. So I guess one has to wonder, like, what does Kazuma fill the day with? Because, being a princess, like, you have things to do. Like, he was talking about how he basically does spend a lot of time with Iris, but there's gotta be prolonged periods of time where you have to entertain yourself. So this is kind of interesting to me that Kazuma sort of surmises that Iris is aware of the vast power she carries and therefore, she's kind of reserved. Like, it's hard to be honest and get people to be honest with you when your disapproval could be the difference between life and death. Now, it's interesting, I wouldn't imagine that Kazuma would know how to play chess. Yeah, Oh dear. Yeah, he's not exactly a gracious winner. And I suppose you probably couldn't expect him to be one either, given that this is Konosuba. But I feel like if you're dealing with a princess, it might behoove you to be on your best behavior. Alright, so I know Kazuma's peppering that into the conversation because he has made friends with devils and liches and all that. But I feel like, maybe you shouldn't be so flippant about it, Because I feel like all the people Kazuma's met are certainly the exceptions rather than the rule, Like, there is some suspicion that's warranted. I mean, especially in a position like Iris's, I feel like you do have to be pretty suspicious and guarded about a lot of things. Maybe she could stand to loosen up a bit, but, it wouldn't do to go too far in the other direction. Well, that's just blatant. They're reusing this to save money, but, I can't say I mind Kazuma just, screwing up the butler's name again. Wow. I mean, he's delighting in making the maid's job more difficult, but I feel like, he might be in for a rude awakening. He's delighting in the fact that he's been here for over a week, just, lazing around. I feel like he's gonna get kicked out. Oh. Oh no. I mean, the solemn look on Darkness's face tells me that, they might be here to collect him forcefully if necessary. Man. This is kind of unusual where Kazuma is, caught out like this. Normally he picks on everyone else. Alright. This is classic. I think it is telling that he's, so willing to sort of abandon the party, I can't say I blame him entirely. And I guess it's nice that everybody recognizes that Kazuma is effectively their lifeline. Of course, I guess the real question is, will Iris be willing to give up Kazuma for the party? And, maybe, I don't think begrudgingly is the right word, but reluctantly maybe? Like, she's not gonna want to do it, but she knows it's the right thing to do. Something like that. I find it interesting that Darkness is phrasing it as, give him his leave. I also find it interesting that, Kazuma's sort of thinking like, come on, like, don't do it. Don't do it, let me stay. I guess Iris really is too good to be involved in this series. So she wants to hold a banquet in his honor. I guess the real question is, when is the other shoe gonna drop? Surely something goes wrong here, right? I mean, I guess the table manners of Megumin and Aqua aside, like, that's not enough to torpedo this whole thing. Wow. You know, I have to say, it is still sort of weird seeing Darkness in, like, court attire and behaving herself. I mean, throughout this whole season so far, she seems to be effectively the voice of reason, which had formerly been a position held by Kazuma. And, you know, personally, I prefer her being kind of unhinged. Ooh. Okay, so this is the other shoe. That's the noble that tried to get Kazuma executed. So I guess, what's he gonna do now? You know, clearly he's interested in Darkness for obvious reasons, but... I mean, he's making the claim that only one man is worthy of wedding with Darkness. Okay, I thought he was going to propose himself, but I guess not. I was wondering if this would sort of force a scenario where Kazuma is forced to step up. Oh. Well, maybe Darkness herself will point it out. Oh. Ooh. This is entirely different. Kazuma's airing their dirty laundry. I mean, it's all false, of course, but, wow. You know what? I don't blame Kazuma. He's just sort of, getting her back for her ruining his nice, comfy life, but at the same time, I'm wondering if there's going to be greater repercussions because of that. I mean, I feel like being embarrassed in front of assorted nobles like that, that's gonna leave a mark socially. I also find it interesting that Kazuma has taken to sulking outside on the balcony during a banquet in his honor. I mean, I don't entirely blame him for not being the partying type, but at the same time, you know, I feel like that is a little rude. Oh, Aqua, no. Producing a giant toad. Like, that's really not a good idea. I mean, naturally, the first thing it's going to do is just, like, eat her, right? Surely it would. Wow, I like how Iris is talking about nobody upsetting Claire or Rain. Like, saying those like those are bad things, that they won't be happening anymore. Well, you know, I guess it is kind of true. The fact that Kazuma is so willing to be rude, for want of a better term, is, grounding, I guess. You know, everybody else is effectively a sycophant. I guess that Iris herself is aware of this is also pretty telling, you know. She's certainly much more intelligent and aware of her situation than I guess we were initially led to believe. Yeah, honestly, you know, Iris strikes me as such a nice person that really the last thing she should do is associate with Kazuma in any way. Ooh. Oh, that's not a good idea. I don't think Iris should become an adventurer. Like... yeah. Like, I don't know, maybe she has the capacity for it, but I feel like if she were to join up with Kazuma and the others, that would be... well, not good, I guess. Wouldn't be good for her. But I feel like that's a little bit of a plot thread, like a thief running rampant around the city. A thief who only targets nefarious nobles. So I'm wondering if this is like a Robin Hood type of affair here. And I'm wondering if that's sort of like the next plot thread, dealing with that thief. Because I feel like maybe maybe he would go after Kazuma. So I'm wondering what idea has crossed his mind. Oh. Okay, so he's going to propose that they have to take care of the problem. Alright, well that's something. You know, catching the thief would be impressive, but I don't know. I mean, everybody I think is rightly pointing out that, you know, I guess it takes a scummy person of ill repute to catch a thief. Oh, man. So he just wants to do this to stay behind. Ugh. So I'm wondering, like, do Darkness, Aqua, and Megaman make arrangements to stay on and help out, or, like, has Kazuma weaseled out of going home? Man. So I feel like Iris is going to be disabused here, because seeing Kazuma in action isn't exactly impressive. Because, I mean, I'm certain he has no intention of actually trying to catch the thief. He just wants to prolong his stay. And even if he did encounter the thief, who's to say he would have the skills to match him, you know? I feel like if anything, he might get robbed. Ooh. I feel like that's a twist he wasn't expecting. He's gonna be stationed with the would-be victims. That's what you get when you act out, Kazuma. Oh, of course. Man, who else but this guy, really? This is karma in action. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.